Dum straight back from California. She literally just got off the plane from having some board level meetings with the Silicon Valley tech giants.
That's true. I was basically in Silicon Valley with the explicit intention of like getting up on the dating app scene, the tech scene, infiltrating and dating every CTO that I could get my hands on.
Really?
Yes.
I love it. Jesus, I love it.
About this.
Dating every CTO, that's good. And are they all male CTOs out there? Is that
there are some. I've heard some good things about some of the women in Silicon Valley, and I love obviously a female entrepreneur and a girl boss being one. So not to be too sexist, but I was genuinely there because I wanted to see, first of all, with my business and what I'm doing, is there a way that I can think bigger, and is there a solution that I can provide? Because dating apps are dominating and growing, but they're kind of soulless and heartless.
Okay.
So I wanted to figure out that, and I also thought, this is how I would approach things. I'm very practical. This is feminist pickup artist. Especially when I'm working with women, I don't really go in for the manifest a man, when it's the right one, he'll find you. To show you how counter my philosophy is to that, I literally went, okay, what do I want? Like people who are really smart, like people who are self-starters, who are doing something they're passionate about. I am going to physically move myself to the geographical epicenter of where I can find that kind of character.
Okay. Well, for yourself?
For myself.
Okay. All right. This is selfish as well as business selfish.
Yeah. That's
okay. And what are you looking for?
Well,
go off topic. No topic today, but yeah, what are you looking for?
You know what? Like I thought that it's one of those funny things, right? I thought that I have not very many criteria anyway. For instance, looks not really important to me. I'm not.
That's what all girls say, but that's a lie.
I wonder if there's somebody watching this. I'm open to it. A shorter guy, guys of a wide variety of different backgrounds. That's fine. But I thought that great conversation, kind of braininess, and also doing something purposeful with their lives. I think someone who wakes up every morning and says, I'm just it pays the bills. I kind of want someone who's gone through that thought process and challenged themselves to think about a way to pay the bills, but also that is rewarding, because those are your heartbeats. That's your life. So
yeah, but you weren't always that way.
You know what? After that, I kind of realised that probably those two criteria are bogus as well. Because what I really like is people that are very passionate, very intense, very direct, very black and white.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. Oh, I like those people too. So, well, we're streaming everywhere right now. I think I'm streaming on Facebook as well, and I'm going to share this, right, Banny, with mine. And we're streaming on YouTube, Instagram, and everything. And look, I haven't seen Hayley in a year. My gosh, maybe. Before that, a year before, right? You were on twice, right?
Yeah, and every time I come in here, I've done some sort of like radical life revision in the past 365 days.
Yeah, You're not boring. Everyone, she's not boring, and we could go through some of those in the past, and maybe we will. But we're here to answer your questions on Facebook. Probably is the best. So if you're on Instagram watching us and you want to ask Hayley or myself a question, go to either one of our Facebook pages because we're live there as well, and we can talk about stuff. But look, we're here to catch up. I'm actually really curious about your business and what you see Silicon Valley.
And I'm curious about your business as well, because London Real, I've just come into your offices today and it's like, boom, it's like a hive of activity.
We multiply like rabbits.
I've noticed.
Yeah, there's lots of people here in the background. They probably don't believe us, but yeah, there's a lot of people here. We've got, I don't know, probably 10 or 12 people that come here regularly, so we're stepping up our game with video. We just had our first feature film that we released about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We were at BAFTA for the premiere. It was a lot of fun. So that was cool. And then now we're in the midst of our Business Accelerator course, which actually closes on Friday. And this is, finally, we took all the knowledge we had over 5 years, and I know you've been through the whole digital product piece, and I know you have Smart Game there as well. But for me, it took me 3 years of broadcasting until I ever actually sold anything. And it took me that long to figure out about digital products. Then we had the Academy, now we have this Business Accelerator. So now we're teaching everybody what we learned, and it's an 8-week course where we take people that are passionate, like you said, and we turn passion into a business. But I don't like to work with people that aren't passionate. I'm not really interested in people that just want to make money. I did that in banking for 10 years. So now it's just I just go with the passion, and it's lots of fun. So we should talk about that stuff.
Yeah. And you know what I like about that as well, in terms of you're encouraging people, because I think it is completely possible. You can do something you completely love. In fact, it should be something you completely love, because the amount of hours and intensity I think you have to put in to make, and the tenacity you need to make that grow. You need to be doing something you're actually interested in.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, and to give people the gift where actually, you know what, you can completely design your lifestyle and your happiness levels and create purpose. You can create purpose. You can make money, you can make people happy, you can live wherever you want in the world. All this stuff is completely within your reach.
Yeah, and you see those people, you probably see them in Silicon Valley, like they kind of glow, you know? Maybe it's a Richard Branson or an Elon Musk or these people that like jump out of bed in the morning, they would be doing it whether they got paid or not, and they're like pumped, and I do think everybody can do that, but it's hard, sometimes you don't know where to start, and it usually means you gotta get uncomfortable and do some things that might feel
it's amazing if you figured out like the structure, because I think if I actually had the ability to like rewind time, because I used to probably know I literally completely organically fell into being a feminist pickup artist, did not intend to do that from the start, but if I had that structure and that guidance, I just think about all the horrible mistakes that I've made along the way.
Oh yeah.
And how I could eradicate
I
them.
can imagine. And so did we. I mean, I remember with Facebook in the early days, when we started out, I think just had pages, and it was like you almost had to pretend like you were a human to be on there. But we called it, I hate to say this, we called it Facebook wall whoring is what we used to call it, because back in the day you could actually plaster things on people's Facebook pages before they put like a privacy setting. So I used to paste every London Real episode on every friend's wall every Monday with my Sunday's episode, just trying to get people to watch it. So like I did all the wrong things. I used to pass out flyers in Liverpool Street Station for London Real.
Well.
I mean, like all the things. Look, it's great to do things that don't scale. It's that concept from Silicon Valley, but sometimes there's a simpler way, and especially social media as well. Everybody these days is like a social media expert, but like we deal with this stuff every single day, and we know what works. We're really good at YouTube, and really good at a few other platforms. So look, we've broken down this whole structure. It's like a roadmap, and we take people through literally kicking and screaming. It's like an 8-week process, and you do this, you do this, you do this. We use like an interactive call software. We do roll call. This isn't like some videos that you watch and then you quit. Like we drag people through like kicking and screaming, and I think like 96% of our people complete the course with a business. Half of them have already gotten revenues. So yeah, we're excited, and for me it's a lot of fun too. So that's what's kicking off here, and that's what I've been talking about. So if I start talking about business, it's because it's been on my mind the last 2 weeks. So yeah, so those links to that whole thing are in our bios on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. But we'd love to take questions about anything, and I want to catch up with you a little bit too.
And I'll say anything as well.
You'll say anything.
I'll say anything. I'll go real.
Yeah, go real as well. I'm going to share this live thing on my personal page. Wow, we look pretty good here on the.
Oh, right, okay.
Live, right?
Wait, hang on. Why can't I see it on my? I'm just looking at my leg there.
Yeah. So that's yours there. So that should be on you. That should be on yours. But I'm going to share this over also on mine, and maybe I'll share this on yours as well. So, but yours should be coming up. Do you see yours on your page?
Okay, so go to me. So if I go here.
Just
me like technical logic. Just fresh back from Silicon Valley, doesn't know how to use Facebook. Here I am.
Now I think to read the comments, I think you have to get in there, and then the comments will come up there, or the highs and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool. So, what was I gonna say? All right, let me just post this here.
Okay, so we're gonna be doing a business, social media, dating skills mashup live.
I love it.
With as many questions as possible.
I love it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about like first your business, because we have kind of similar businesses, as in we both teach people. We have audiences. We have people that watch our videos. You have a TED Talk.
We have academies.
We have academies together. But like we both embrace like media and public speaking to get your message out there, and then people that want more of you or more of me or more of people that want to start your own business, then they can come in and buy, which are digital products really, right? You sell digital products. What's the one thing you've learned over the years doing things the wrong way and the right way, and what's one piece of advice you can give to people about that whole business?
Okay, for digital products, I honestly think like content is king. So for me, you can't just, I think, go in and go for a very hard sales line. Personally, I feel uncomfortable with it anyway, and I think you have to give amazing content, and you have to develop that first. So I'm happy in a way that I started out in my industry as a writer and as a dodgy YouTuber, because I think that basis of giving people value first and giving people the idea. So I spend a lot of time thinking, not only when I'm doing my content for my actual courses and webinars, but also for my YouTubes, and thinking about ways that I can put across kind of quite high level concepts on bootstrap there. So I've got a video that's coming out next week I'm going to share with you, and it's a play. Do you know those little puppy videos?
No.
The dumb animal video.
Is it a new meme or something?
Yeah, it's like everyone. Okay, everyone's listening to this. Own up to it. Who watches puppy videos or wastes their life doing that? And it's basically, they're an internet sensation. It's a low quality, grainy video, and it's like puppy makes friends with ferret or puppy makes friends with kitten. It's just these dorky, animals. They're like playing around together, and they're crazy viral. So I thought
one of those memes that's just going crazy.
Crazy, yeah. And I thought it's kind of weird because it's a weird viral phenomenon. It's also sort of what I consider like a waste of life. You can just sit there scrolling these things for ages. So I've done a video where it shows like a cute puppy, and then it cuts saying, oh, another cute puppy video. Then you get a bit more puppy, and then it goes, you're watching puppy videos again. And then it cuts from the puppy to like a sexy businessman beginning to get undressed. And then it's like, well, you can watch the puppy video, or you can go out and learn how to approach guys in real life. So that's beginning to promote my next women's event, which is coming up in April, called Going Renegade, which is my signature event where I've taken a kind of pick-up style boot camp, and I'm actually teaching women to go out and meet men during the daytime.
Wow, okay.
As a super flip.
That's a super flip. Wow, I love that. Well, first of all, with the memes, I don't stay plugged in enough, but I'm sure like my daughter knows the puppy memes, so I'm with you on that. And like you said, you've got to create tons of content out there.
Right.
And so like one of the things that we talk about is this whole, we call it an end-to-end ecosystem, is like everybody's got to have free product, low-cost product, and then kind of expensive product.
Yeah.
And some people, like you said, they forget the free product. So you grew up blogging, YouTubing, so did I. So we probably have plenty of free product out there. But a lot of people start and they're like, oh, why don't you buy my $5,000 course? And it's like, wait a second, you got to first provide a lot of value. Mm-hmm. And then also, some people don't want to give away the good stuff. But you got to get out there and just give people all the good information. And when they want execution, then they'll come to the Renegade Bootcamp and go for that. And so I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't understand that. So they don't put their ideas out there. And then they also, I have other entrepreneurs that say, Brian, I'm going to get an app and sell 1 million of them for $5. And I'm like, homie, that's not going to work. You also need like a $1,000 or $2,000 product. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to build a business. So these are really fundamental to have those 3 types of products.
And I do something. I've got the Hayley Quinn Club, and it's £35 a month. It's kind of comparable to subscribing to a dating site, but you get like digital information about skills about how to meet people as opposed to matches. And I love the fact it's like I consider that an affordable amount of stuff to spend. I spent so many years, as you probably know, growing up extremely poor. And I love the idea that no matter what your budget is, maybe if you're really super successful and you want to get a highly tailored, super personal, really intensive experience, you can do that. But you know what, if you're sat there, in a single bedroom somewhere, but you're dreaming big and you're willing to put like the effort and the graft and the hours in, I like being able to I think providing people with all those tools and those options is amazing.
Yeah, and for £1 a day, that's really good. Again, it's a low cost product. People can kind of, give you something, they get more content, and then some of those people, a very small percentage, will pay and come to your boot camp,
right,
or might pay for some private training from you, or buy like a higher cost product from you. And I think if people can get that in their heads, then they're going to have a successful business. But if they forget the free product and the TED Talks and getting your message out there, forget it. If they forget the expensive product, forget it as well.
This reminds me of like back in the day when I was still building up my brand and no one knew who I was. I would talk anywhere. I would be doing free talks in the alleyways in Soho to niche pickup groups. I'm trying to remember what they were called now,
wow,
like London, and I would literally, it would be like, they would just be the pickup artist community is pretty secret and clandestine. So word would go through the community that there would be I think it was called the Saturday Sarge, and every Saturday this group of guys would and you never knew how many people would turn up. And I spoke in pouring rain, in snow. It was a literal alleyway. But I did that time and time again. And you know what? That's how your speaking abilities get sharp.
Yeah.
I didn't do any professional training. I just spoke a lot.
Yeah, you put the time in. And if anyone has any questions about TED Talks, Hayley gave hers in Nevada, I think it was about a year ago. Yeah. In Reno, right? About a year ago.
Yeah, that's
you were flying straight there, I think, after the Real Talk we did, something like that. So if you got questions about that or any of these concepts as far as business or free products or even digital products or even events, I might ask you a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, I've just started to get really into events and branding, visuals.
Okay. Ooh, visuals.
Visuals, because get this, I'm words, right? I'm very good at writing and speaking, I hope. But what really made a huge difference with my brand and my ability to, people often ask me how'd you get into media? How'd you get all this press? And there's no trick. I don't think I've ever really employed a PR. I literally, the two things I do is I've got like really strong content. So I've got stuff that people actually would like to read and watch. So magazines and newspapers are happy to re-syndicate it.
Right. But you write those articles a lot of times.
Yeah.
And
I write
take the pictures.
and do the YouTube videos. So it's content driven. It's not like I paid somebody to do it. The content does its own work. That added to the fact that last year I really started to work with me and my team on branding it upright. So I had this amazing girl called Alex who helped me out a lot with that. And just doing things like your branding is amazing, but recognizing the colors, pictures, brand identity, tangible physical objects that people like, workbooks that people can take home from your events, what a difference that makes to your brand and the ability to put it into the media.
Yeah, really good point, really strong point, and like makes me think we got to redo ours again and again and again. You know, it is important, and if you look at Hayley, look, you're a bit of a hustler. You are.
I am a hustler.
I mean,
oh my god, I used to work on Portobello Road. You know,
okay,
like
really?
yeah.
Hawking things and selling things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I used to.
This deep dark past going on here. Oh my gosh.
I did everything. You know what though? There's been some times where I've been completely broke and trying to get my business up and running because it's all just like probably same as you, just organic growth. And I look back and I've chipped into this money that I earned when I was 13 years old dishwashing, like the ultra emergency nest egg fund. And I'm really proud of myself in the past for getting out of bed in the morning and doing those bad jobs to fund everything else. And that's how I built my whole business. You know, like the coaching at the start I coached for £15 an hour, which was also when it's cold and rainy outside and you're trying to teach a guy at that point in time, it's only men, how to approach a woman. That's not a fun job. Even if you get a £50 bonus if they get a kiss, which is one of the other awfully unethical things I did in the past.
Is that unethical? I don't know.
I know. But anyway, the point is I took that money and that's what I used to build my first website, which was really bad and didn't work at all. And then it was this gradual thing where I've just earned a bit and I've reinvested it and I've kept stacking one thing on top of the other. So, you know, it's not a luck thing I see, it's just like continual graft and also just being very comfortable with taking risk a lot of the time. Like I was speaking to you earlier about how I'm going to go full digital nomad and pack up my London base and just live nowhere. And I think that is a byproduct of just over the years with business, love, friendship circles. I've led a extremely free life of very little stability, but now I've become kind of
comfortable being a little bit unstable.
Yeah.
Okay, but which is stable for you now.
Yeah,
right?
like, you know, I think it's always unstable.
Yeah, life
anyway,
is, right?
Right.
There's a perception of control that really isn't there, right?
Yeah, completely.
Well, people, I mean, like, look, your branding's always good, your pictures are always good. Back in the day, you know, your articles that used to show up in, like, major publications were good content. I mean, like, you've always been really hustling on that scene. I think you do that much better than we do. We produce a lot of video content, and we do that. But when it comes to, like, getting good press, you're definitely better at that.
Yeah, it's been interesting, you know, now sometimes when I get, you know, getting the press, so what I said, my women's event, Going Renegade. Now, actually, on that event, I have to say, you know, the sensationalist line is, get this, women approaching men sober potentially during the daytime, quite possibly in Whole Foods. Like, that is like, whoa.
Yeah, anyone up for that out there? So,
yeah, so
our audience is very male. But yeah.
Well, there you go. I'll tell you, you know, April 22nd, Whole Foods Soho. If you look at that, that's where it's going to be at. But the point is, that's the spin and the scandalous part of it, you know. It's in reality, whilst the workshop is like 70% practical, as are my male training events, you know, what we're really teaching is, I think, very ethical, extremely practical social skills development, which I think everyone, male, female, regardless of sexual orientation, should have access to.
Okay.
You know, and I think I completely stand behind everything that I teach, but, you know, taglining it, feminist pickup artist, it's because the two words don't seem to sit together, so they cause a bit of confusion and they grab attention. Now, I would have been kind of against doing that in the past, but now I see the benefit of doing something that's a bit of an attention grab, that gets people to engage with your brand, and then you deliver them something that's super high quality and really cares for your customers over the other side.
Yeah, you have to do it, and you know, we've had guests in here. We were just talking about Ross Edgley, was here a week or two ago, and he's the king of the stunts, but he pulls them off. So like, he does crazy stuff, like he pulls a car, he does a marathon pulling a car. or like I said, the triathlon with a tree, which is the triathlon. And I must say, he's really good
With
at
like a
getting
literal tree.
Yeah, on his back.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
like
crazy.
we used to see the videos. So, but again, like, but then he delivers on it, and he's also making a point about strength versus endurance, and there's a lot of things going on. So, look, you have to do something to get above the fray these days. You can call it like clickbait, but clickbait usually doesn't deliver on the click. But you have to do something to get above the fold these days, and you must know that, especially in your industry, where probably you're seeing more and more people trying to become the next pickup artist.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I'm going to say something. I'm going to go out there and defend the pickup industry a little bit.
Okay, cool. I'm not slamming it.
No, because they get a really bad rap.
And they were early adopters of all sorts of things, digital products and a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. So here's my case for why I think pickup is okay. I do think that some of the worst messages that you get out of pickup, like the most misogynistic, nastiest stuff, is literally a byproduct of people competing in a really cramped market space and trying to get heard, as well as having slightly strange, probably not very well formed views. You know, like I had one of the pickup guys actually sort of trolling me on Twitter earlier today, saying like, Hayley Quinn gives terrible advice. She teaches women to be single instead of being in relationships. All people know that women want to be in a relationship and led by a man. It was like that, and I was like, well, and that's not my point. Like, when I'm working with women particularly, I'm saying that, you know, it's like my nan would say, it's better to be on the shelf than locked in the wrong cupboard. You know, it's better to prize and take some value and not see singleness as a point of social stigma, and to enjoy that place in your life rather than kind of sitting there scheming how to get the guy or catch and keep a man.
Okay, which happens a lot. I don't know these things.
I'm going to break down the dating industry, and I'll take this. I'm going to argue why the pickup artist industry is better than the women's dating advice industry.
Okay.
Okay. So get this: men's pickup artist industry. Good things about it. One, it quite clearly says doesn't matter whether you're like short, tall, fat, thin, old or young. You can learn to be better. And I actually like that as a message. It's completely regardless of anything superficial, you can definitely develop social skills. It is also generally extremely practical. You know, if you want to learn how to be a better conversationalist or how to approach somebody or flirt, there are actual, to varying degrees of good and badness, skills that you can train around that. It also, a lot of kind of how pickup I think is developed is it's now in a zone where it's not so much about meeting women, it's about becoming your best self. So it's become very personal development focused, you know, run your own business, be really healthy, get your life together. Women's dating advice, on the other hand, I literally feel is like from the time of the dinosaurs. It's a land before time. It's still stuck, like it's so it's like horribly out of date. The main companies out there are saying, you know, this is how you can catch and keep a man. Like even the really? Naming of it is bad. It kind of automatically puts a woman, I think, in a position of disempowerment. Then to add to that, even like several like market leaders, I'm going to call this out. So on Matt Hussey, female dating market leader, and he does some amazing business. All credit to him, freaking amazing business, great content, great website, very well delivered products and programs. But the message that's put out there that people are buying into, I think is pretty horrible. It's like one of his most recent emails said, you know, as a woman, you know, it's a sad fact of life that when a man meets a woman, he puts her into one of three boxes, friend, casual sex, or relationship. And then it said it in bold in his email newsletter, but the good news is you have full control over what box you get put into. And I'm there obviously reading this, like, running to like smash my computer.
And he teaches women like you.
Yeah, he teaches women, and this is the weird thing about the dating industry as well. It's always guys teaching girls or women teaching men, and I think I'm probably one of the only people that's really active in both marketplaces, which I think helps. You know, it's challenging because it's like running two businesses at once. Yeah,
you always had your website was like women and men right on the front page, right?
Yeah, so it splits. But I think I like to keep it clean. I like to keep it ethical. I like to say, I wouldn't say anything that I wouldn't say in front of everybody. I like the men and the women's groups and my clubs to interact with one another.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So like, I think you know, good business, I mean that in a nice way. So, but like, good business practices, that's what longevity is all about. And if you're not going to be straight up and offer ethical things and be who you are, it's going to be really short-lived. I'm really curious about social media because a lot of the people that watch London Real They don't know what social media to use if they want to start a business. They're confused. I know YouTube confuses people a lot, and I can speak a little bit about that. But one thing we teach in our Business Accelerator Week 3 is we teach people to be on 5 platforms, but to focus on 2.
Right.
Because if you try to focus on every platform, like literally you're running around with your head cut off.
Oh, God.
And there's no need for it.
And I'm still doing it. I'd like to completely own up to this. Like, I am still working on so many aspects of my business. Social media is completely one of them. Where it's like I've made my website functionality so good, branding so good, club so good, my events are slick, like my clients are super happy, but my social media could be a lot better, to the point where it's just you don't realize that to build up an editorial calendar so that you are prepared and you're planning your content, you're thinking about how it all syncs in together and it all's got a consolidated message, that is actually quite a lot of work.
Yeah.
So the case in point where I remember it was like probably about a 9 p.m. and I was having a Skype call with my team and we were like, oh my God, it's February 13th. I was like, we haven't thought of a Valentine's Day campaign. I was like, what are we doing? And then we were like, we'll get it for Women's Day. We'll get it for Women's Day. We've got 3 weeks to plan for that, and that is what it's like. Sometimes it can be a hustle. It can be like an immediate idea. For me, I now on my just on my phone as a simple practice, I have continual notes going on. That if I have a good idea for a social media post, I'd start writing it down, and then I start to collate my photos. But I actually got some brilliant advice from someone. This is advice on social media fresh out of Silicon Valley.
Good, I can't wait to hear.
Yeah, so I went sneaking my way around and using all of my feminist pickup artist skills to hustle social media advice from the source. And what the guy said is actually kind of surprised me. He said for my Instagram it should be, it needed to be actually more about me.
Okay.
And in the past, if any of you see my Instagrams at Hayley Quinn X, it's like I didn't want to put loads of pictures of my face because I was like, no one needs to see more of that. I thought it was really narcissistic. But he said that actually what's doing really well is that sense of personal brand, and then also having probably 3 core themes to your pictures, 3 or 4 core themes. So every picture is either like a meme, a picture of you, for me like, I know, a picture of something that's obviously love and dating related, or a picture of like my breakfast smoothie, a very clear and consolidated 3 or 4 kinds of content. So visually, that if you open up the app and you look at it, it all fits in together and there isn't actually that much variation, So, and I think pulling that through also on the color scheme, using the same tonality in all of the pictures, getting the right balance between selfies, up close detail shots, memes. That is like, it is a complete art form.
Yeah, and that's Instagram, you're really talking.
Instagram.
And that's not the stories, this is the pictures, because that's when people kind of look at this mosaic when they pull you up.
Yeah,
right?
but apparently the caption should be super personal as well. So I actually experimented yesterday. I was like, okay, I'm going to actually go out there and I'm going to, and every time I do this, because I've got a personal brand, I actually freak out a bit because I'm like, oh God, I'm going to write something truthful, but it's going to be a bit edgy, and then people are going to judge me, and I have to push myself to do it every time. So I just said the truth, which is like, I'd been on some dates in San Francisco, and I'd completely intentionally, gone to this geographical area where I thought I could meet a bunch of people that fit this criteria idea I had in my mind. But at the end of it, after like blasting through like 3 dates a day with all these like San Francisco, at the end I was like, oh man, there's this guy somewhere else that I obviously really am still hung up on, and I still really am attracted to.
Interesting. All right,
and
you basically blogged that on the Instagram.
I blogged it.
Okay,
yeah.
Which is another good point. And I had James Altucher in here, and he told me like a year ago. He said, Brian, on the way out, he's like, start blogging on Instagram. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's a picture site. And he was like, I think you should blog on Instagram. And now a lot of people actually put really good written content on there, which I think is smart.
Yeah, and also when people have a voice, as a writer, I like it when you can hear someone's voice is the same every time. So they literally talk to Instagram or their Instagram followers like they're having a one-on-one conversation with a really good friend. Even if it's just like, hey, I think I'm going to take a break from Instagram this weekend, been kind of overdoing the social media, so I'm just going to recharge, hang out with my family, but I'll see you on Monday. Like, it's so personal and so one-on-one, and I notice the people that I think do it brilliantly, they're always like 20 years old and like born with Instagram in hand.
Born being authentic and real and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's and people always ask me like, what are the basic of social media? And I had a guy in here named Alex Icon. I don't know if you know Mimi and Alex Icon. They're really big in the YouTube space. And Alex always told me, he said QVCA. Those were his 4 letters, and it standed for quality, quality, and as you can hear Hayley talk about it, everything's got to be on point that you
Right.
post. You know, it's got to have, you got to think about color schemes, and you got to think about your branding and your message. It can't just be this potpourri of images. I mean, that might have worked a year or two ago, but these days, especially on Instagram, people come for the first time. They want to honestly see a story of that mosaic of your last 10
Oh my
pictures.
god, and you know what the offshoot of this is, just to bring it back to dating briefly, is
Yeah.
Instagram has definitely had an influence on people's dating app
Okay.
pictures.
Oh, really?
The,
Okay.
the game has been raised because I think people literally have such a higher expectation about what a visual image looks like, because everyone is like or people that are using Instagram become like part-time photographers.
Right.
So if you, yeah.
Because they need the best pictures out there, and now they know how to do that for themselves, and that's
Right.
carrying over to Instagram.
And Instagram is then, because Instagram often links into like Tinder and Bumble, and it's very normal to put your Instagram handle on those apps as a means of like verification and
Okay.
creating more trust,
Right.
and to also show more pictures of yourself. It's like, for more photos, look here.
Right.
And it means that when I'm looking at people's profiles, like a lot of them are really amazing. They're like spectacularly artistic ad campaign like, and then you get the poor guy. Sorry, it's usually a guy. I'm going to be
It's always a
terribly
guy, right.
terribly sexist. Who's gone in there, and he's probably like an awesome dude, but has done like a bathroom or an elevator selfie, you know, and just the fact that okay, this is how I'm processing the information. I'm like, just the fact that you haven't recognised the substantial trend towards a higher quality of image.
Makes you not interested, that he doesn't
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
Man, that's brutal out there. Yeah, I'm not single right now, I'm glad. Maybe.
Yeah.
And to finish up with those letters, second letter for social media posting is value. And again, like we've been talking about here earlier, give value in every post, like really, especially with video and things like that. Like, make it either entertain me with some meme, make it kind of get to know you better, make it teach me something. You know, that's really important. That's what we do here. Every London Real video is hopefully showing you a different point of view, that kind of thing. So make sure it adds value to them, not to you, for posting it.
And you know what, one of the best things I've ever done, like it's for getting people to give them loads of value on YouTube and in a way that helps my business,
Yeah.
is at the end of the YouTube video, give them a cheat sheet.
Okay.
A
Very
cheat
nice.
sheet is like a micro ebook or a styled PDF of some really cool content. But at the end you go, hey, go to hayleyquinn.com/approach for the guys, or hayleyquinn.com/real life for the women, get a free cheat sheet. And that, you know, it converts brilliantly, loads of people sign up for your mailing list, but you also give them something free, and it also it's almost like if you've enjoyed the content in the video, here you can have more, and guess what, you can download it onto your phone, so that if you're on a date or you really want to figure out how to say hello to someone, it's right there.
Yeah.
So I think that you can definitely create, I never had this before, but you can definitely create wins for customers, wins for your team, wins for the business, and they're not in competition with one another.
Yeah, it's super important. And also, you also do another tricky thing there, which is great, which is getting back to your website and hopefully get an email address.
Yeah.
And I want to speak on that too, because some people, I was talking with someone earlier, we all know that person with 300,000 followers on their Instagram account, except they're still living with their mom, because they haven't found a way to turn that into a business. And so I think so many people get caught up with the social media numbers, and I used to as well. I was like, I want 100,000 YouTube followers, and like we got the silver button.
How many have you got now? You've got
in
loads,
our Instagram. It's like 200 something thousand. Well, we got the silver button in our bathroom, and sometimes people see it, and like it's not a huge thing. You get a gold button at 1 million. So we're still working on it. But that used to be our KPI, like get 100,000 YouTube subscribers. But you know, the thing about YouTube is if it bans you, or if for some reason the algorithm changes, you'll never get to talk to those people. Same with Instagram, same with Facebook. So until you get the email address, which is getting back to your website, which Hayley does, which we do at London Real if you want the full episode, once you get the email address, that's when your business begins. Before that, you're just someone with a social media account. And again, Facebook could change the algorithm. These days with Facebook, you almost have to pay even to talk to your own people on your page. So get that email address, and that's something that we go through in the Business Accelerator, like Module 3. It's like go from social media back to the site, give them something like a PDF or a free video series, get the email address, and in my opinion, all sales conversations happen on email. And I'm sure that's where you sell people on your live programs. Most people make this mistake of like trying to sell people on a YouTube video or trying to sell them on Facebook. Nobody wants to buy things when they're on Facebook. They want to be entertained, they want to connect. So that's where you plant ideas and seeds and give them free content. But when it's time to really transact, get them back to the website and give them something that they want.
And I've noticed with this what you do as well, even when you're promoting something like an event or something you're running, you still give so much quality and things, educational things and tools immediately for free up front before people commit.
Yeah, but you have to these days,
Yeah.
really. I mean, you just
Yeah, yeah.
you just have to, and I think it's just great brand building, and it's just reciprocation. You know, you give value out there, and you do it all the time as well. And so I meet people in the streets, and they've been watching me for years sometimes. And honestly, the people that buy our Business Accelerator programs in our academy, usually they've been watching us for years,
Right.
bouncing around on YouTube, and then they finally get to the site, and then maybe they come to an event. And then finally, when they buy a course,
it's a big deal, right? Is it for somebody to invest in doing some training?
Totally.
And so I think they have to know you and your brand so well and feel so comfy.
They say it takes, what is the term? They say it takes 7 hours, 11 touch points over 3 different mediums before someone actually pulls out their credit card to spend even 10 pounds.
I thought you were going to talk about something else then.
Oh, really? You
Yeah,
tell me what?
I was going to get. I thought
I'm
that
not
sounds.
single. I'm not
that's,
single.
I know, but that sounds remarkably like some material that might be taught in the pickup line.
Oh, really? Before
7 hours, 11 touch points, 3 mediums.
Really?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
before something happens? Is that what,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Something
Yeah,
like
apparently,
that?
apparently there's a rule. Like, I think, by the way, I have to say, and just off topic, for any guys or mainly the guys listening to this, I legitimately get asked this question, which is like, how long is it into a date before I can kiss a girl?
Okay.
And I think that's a kind of a negative of the pickup industries. It's taught this very like linear process to attraction where you can actually have marker points.
Yeah.
And so I've got some really good friends.
So what's the answer though?
Well,
there is no answer.
Well, the answer is, and to give you some, like I said, to restore some faith in the pickup industry, some of like my friends that are in the industry, like Rob Baxter, even Ross Jeffries, we were joking about this as a concept, and we almost put together a YouTube video called the 47-minute rule, which was going to be a joke, like it was a farce, which is 47 minutes is the perfect time. We've all worked it out. But just to like subtly poke fun at the idea that it's like a human interaction. But I also feel for the guys who maybe they are, they feel like they're wearing a cap that says friend zone and they were born in the friend zone or something, and that they're not seeking to be evil or manipulate anyone. They would just like to have women in their life, which is like a normal human need. And the feedback they often get from women is that they don't feel that spark or that connection, or the moment didn't feel right. But that feels really ephemeral and difficult to quantify for a guy who's approaching it with a completely different mindset. So I like, what I try and do a lot with Hayley Quinn is kind of bridge the gap with some pretty honest conversation, but also it's very, very practical.
Okay,
because
so there's no time limit. That's all kind of the wrong way of looking at it.
Yeah,
you have to feel it.
Yeah, but I think for the guy, for instance, first of all, it's really difficult to work out what other people are thinking and feeling.
Okay.
You can have a pretty good, sometimes, the way that you generally get feedback and you work out what someone's position is if you say what your position is. Or you take a proactive step forward.
Okay.
So for the guy, it would be actually, or the girl, if she wanted to be the first one to make a move, I'm all for that. It'd be better for that person to identify, I want to kiss this person, I'm attracted to them, this is a date to me, so I'm going to physically move closer to them. Then I might, whether it's through touch or through verbalizing something, I'm going to say something which, makes it clear.
Kiss me.
Kiss
No.
me.
Really?
Kiss me.
It needs to be more subtle than that.
I've
right?
had some funny ones, but the point is then, what do? You get feedback, and
Right.
feedback is okay. If you know what someone's objection is or where they are, that's so much better than hanging back. I've known guys who have been waiting for the right moment for 8 years or something.
Yeah, I met guys like that too. They need to be a little bit more aggressive or forward on that.
Yes.
Yeah, because you get feedback, like you said.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I don't know if this 7 hours, 11 touch points, and 3 mediums is true, but it's something like that. So you need to do that, and you need to be out there, and that's why you need to create media on video and on social media and all these things before someone comes to your website where they learn more about you and then they buy. So that's super important. And just to finish up on those 2 letters, it was Q, quality, V, value, C, consistency. Super important to just post daily, post weekly. We do an episode of London Real every week for the past 5.5 years. We don't miss it. Every Sunday morning, 11 o'clock, you have an episode. So it's that's super important. And then A, you were talking about it earlier, authenticity.
Yeah.
These days, everybody smells someone who's not being themselves, and it's so much easier to be yourself anyways. So just keep it real, like super real. And if you've been dating, 16 different tech CEOs in Silicon Valley and still not
I'm
satisfied,
telling every single one of them that the 7-hour rule doesn't apply, because it's like, you
don't have that much time.
No, already kind of the
Gotta
opposite. I'd be
go.
like, hang on, I was like, you have to multiply that for years of experience within the dating industry. So, and what was I going to say about authenticity? Yeah, I'm going to write my next blog post I had an idea for. Is going to go on the women's side of my site, which is going to be, because I like what I like about with dating and love. I like to really analyze lots of the advice that we just casually accept to be true, and kind of dig into it and think, is that actually correct? Like lots of the really, especially the really controversial stuff, like should you tell a guy how many people you've slept with?
Okay, good question.
Should you sleep with someone on the first date?
Okay.
It's pretty out there.
I would think no is the first answer for the first one. Second one, I don't know. Long term, no. I don't know. These are all subjective. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So I try and look at it in a different way. And my latest blog post is going to be literally why you should send love poetry to your ex.
Okay, to your ex.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're ready to go there.
Okay.
Okay. So shall I make a case? Which one should which one should we go for? Is it like the okay, here's a good argument for why you should, if you want to, have sex with somebody on the first date.
Okay, hit me up. And this is for men or women?
Both.
Okay.
I think it's going to be traditionally, this will annoy me, traditionally seen as more of a women's dating issue, because I think often our value as human beings, or our suitability as potential wives, is being attached to how sexually liberated we are.
Right.
Right. And I don't think that's really very fair, but that's how it has been. So I'm, by the way, in saying this, I'm not saying I also think that people are perfectly entitled, if they want to wait until they get married to have sex, or they have a completely different parameter around that. But say you're on a date, you have great personal chemistry, and the reason that you're not having sex with this person is you're thinking, I am worried that if I do that, he will judge me as having given it away too easily, and therefore I must be like this with all the guys, and so I can't be as valuable, I'm not suitable to be a girlfriend.
Okay, right.
Okay, so if that is what you're worried about, my answer to that is, I was like, first of all, if that's that guy's attitude, you don't want him as your boyfriend. Like, if a guy's gonna literally, because I think also the funny thing about like sex on a first date is you were both there having sex on the first date, right? It wasn't like one of you was.
Yes, true.
So you both turned up, you both made the decision to have sex at that point in time. So after that event, which was mutually consensual, if one party judges the other party as being too sexually open, too easy, not valuable enough for going ahead with it, they're being extremely hypocritical and narrow-minded, and I don't think those are great.
Okay, so it's a good acid test.
I think it's a great acid test.
If he still hangs around, then he's real, and if he doesn't, then good riddance.
And if he doesn't, then maybe you had like passionate sex with an asshole, and then he's gone.
Okay. So authenticity, very important. Be authentic. And so you're really teaching people just to go with their feelings and all the time.
Yeah, do you. It's so much more rewarding.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
And definitely do you with anything, because you only want to hang out with people that are feeling the real you anyways. And so, look, that's what I think broadcasting is all about, because you broadcast yourself out there, and then the people that like you, they come and hang out, and that's what happens with London Real. They come to our events, they buy our stuff. The people that don't like me, or why is this American in London? Like, they just do one, and that's okay too.
Yeah, that's what I think. I'm like, this is why I was to everyone. I'm like, you know what? Here, have my poetry. You know what? I was like, if I've written a poem about you,
then they can have the poetry.
Yeah, and if I've written a poem about you, I expect like to be enthusiastic to read it, flattered. Yeah. If you're freaked out and you're there thinking that I'm a complete psycho feminist pickup artist who's surely manipulated you, then we're not the right. It's never going to go anywhere.
So send the poetry.
Send the poetry.
Yeah, I like it. No, and we have this concept here, and we teach this as well in the accelerator, that you have to go for your 1,000 true fans. Whenever you're starting a business, try to make 1,000 people out there happy out of the 7 billion in the world. So actually, it's your job to be a little controversial, to be a little just you, and to talk about only the stuff you care about, and to say if you don't like something or don't like something else.
Pretty similar to dating, right?
Yeah, no, it's true. You really want to narrow it down, right?
Yeah.
Towards just only these people. And if you try to please 1 million people or 10 million people, honestly, none of them are going to like you. Because you water down your message. And it's like if Hayley was here talking about, well, I don't know what I would do on the first date, but do the right thing. No one would feel her, because they'd be like, all right, blah, blah, blah. And so it's actually your duty to just go after those 1,000 people, make them happy. Once that's done, you can scale your business. And if you think about the people that Hayley just saw, like Mr. Zuckerberg for Facebook, he started with Harvard University. He made those students happy with the Facebook. Then he moved on to another university, and as he made them happy, found out what's the need of a college student? How do they want to interact with each other? They want to use their real names, their real faces. He figured that out, then he scaled up, and we did the same thing at London Real, and we teach this in like module 1 of our business accelerator. Go for a tiny market, make them happy, and then when you have some revenues coming in, then go bigger and bigger. I don't know if there's a dating analogy there.
There is,
but
well,
yeah.
I do think that it's like, I think like if you constantly are thinking like, how do I present this kind of perfect image of myself, this person isn't going to judge me, you know, how do I make sure I say the right thing, how do I make someone like me, you are starting from a position that is like, you are acting in a way that is unattractive, and also in a way that's doing a bad job of filtering the right people for you. I think particularly with female dating advice, the other stuff I see out there, it's so much about how do I not like scare a guy off, or you know, how do I let the man set the pace? And I'm reading it and I'm like, to an extent, yeah, maybe that works kind of. I was like, but are you really doing the best job of filtering out the right guy who's going to be the best partner for you in the long run? Because you need to, guess what, you need someone who you can communicate with, who's, you know what, if you want to send poetry to them, they're going to have to actually like that, because if that's a core part of your personality, they should be able to gel with that. So rather than concealing who you are, trying to play it safe, trying to play by all the rules in order to get someone, I would strongly advise for men and women that it's totally okay. You know, because if 99 or even 99.9% of people are not into it, that is okay. There's so many people out there, and I think through making your personal brand, whether it's for business or dating, stronger, you just get better quality leads and a more enjoyable interactions.
Yeah, totally agree. Like, seriously, be yourself, draw your line in the sand and say, I don't like this, I don't like that. If I think of the greatest guests on London Real, the people that have opinions, you know, you always have an opinion. If I think of people like Ido Portal or Dan Pena or Chris Eubank, like they just come out and say, psh, this is me. And they go get their 1,000 or their 100,000 fans, and then people go on. The beauty of YouTube and the web these days is you can find someone who's just you. And if you like that dude that she talked about earlier, if you're a woman, then great. And if you like all the other different people out there, coaches, whatever, you can go with them. So yeah, that's the biggest lesson. So it's a great thing to do. All right, I don't know if we're gonna stream forever. Oh, Ross Nichols joined us. Okay, cool. He's one of my guys, one of my jiu-jitsu guys. I want to talk about 3 things if we're gonna wrap us up in a bit. For your live event, what are 3 things the women are gonna learn? And then I'll talk about 3 things that people learn at our business accelerator, and we'll take a few questions and then roll. But like, tell us, what are some things that women would learn if they come to your events?
Okay, so 3 things that women will learn from going Renegade. 1.
Why do you call it going Renegade?
Because we're breaking the rules. It's
Okay,
like we're going out into the field. So it is a practical event.
Okay.
So it's 70% practically delivered, i.e. I am teaching women in real life environments to approach guys. So there's
So you're going out in the streets.
yeah, and you know, selected private members clubs, bars, events, and yes, some like cool places during the daytime as well.
Okay.
So women, if you've ever been curious, I keep seeing these Bumble adverts called like that say, "Would you make the first move?"
Okay.
And I want you to consider, would you make the first move in real life? So I'm going to be teaching women elegant ways. So not like, you know, if you want to walk up to him and say, hey baby, I'd be okay with that. But I will be teaching them specific structures for how to begin conversations, and also for how to get him to approach you. Because I will also be teaching women how they can get him to ask for their number. I'm very in favour of women asking for the number as well, but on their way to thinking that is an acceptable thing to do. There's social skills that you can literally learn how to create conversations which create an environment where it makes it easier for him to make that step. I also teach women something I call the vantage point, which is all about having this outlook on life, which isn't, oh, you know, Lord, how do I catch and keep one of these wonderful men? How do I not scare him off? Instead thinking, hang on a second, is like, this is my life, this is about me, and actually finding a great person or great people to slot in with that. So I'm going to flip, if they're sat there feeling like a little bit miserable and sad or, you know, downtrodden because of the, I think, bogus female dating advice they've been hearing, then I want to offer them something different.
Yeah, mindset is super important, you know, because, well, you know, I guess in any pickup or any scenario, even in business, if you go out there with this toxic mindset, you're going to sabotage yourself all the way.
Right.
And in dating, like when you're face to face with a person, like that stuff comes out like this, right?
It does. And you know what, if you go in there with this, I think great concept from the world of pickup, right, is the frame, which is like the perspective you bring to an interaction influences. It's like history, you know, like how history is written by whoever won in the end. So I think if you actually have a strong perspective, and you actually, you don't feel embarrassed about that love poetry. You go, you know what, I stand by that. That was a great poem.
Yeah.
If you can't see the artistic merit in that, and he's freaked out by the fact that I've burned my soul, well, you know what, I'm going to find someone who wants someone who's as passionate and as intense as I am.
I love it. Own the frame, win the game.
Yeah.
And that frame, for people that don't know, I mean, the frame is just like your perspective on what the situation is. And if you go in thinking, I am winning this situation, or I am in control, I am myself, I'm happy with all of this stuff, then you will always walk out of that situation the quote-unquote winner, or in your mind feeling like that.
Feeling good about yourself. And you know what, if you feel good about the actions that you've taken, and you have a chain of a history of thinking, it's like, I think for anyone, man or woman, if you're thinking about a dating situation, you want to know what the right thing to do is. I just think, think in 5 years' time, what is the move here that's going to make you feel super proud of yourself, that's going to command respect for you, that's going to actually look after you as a person. If you can do that, then your self-esteem just builds and builds and builds and builds, and that strongest identity and that self-esteem is what's super attractive.
Yeah, it's crucial. And it's funny you said mindset, because what we do before we talk about business and social media and digital products and webinars and all the stuff we teach, module 0 is mindset. And I find that so many people have a toxic relationship with money. Mm-hmm. And we taught this course in the past, and I found out in week 6, I'm like, did you sell your course? And they're like, no, I didn't want to ask for money. And I'm like, why? Well, I don't like to sell. Why? Well, I don't. And you ask 6 whys, and they don't feel worthy. They feel money's gross. So now we deal with module 0, and I'm like, look, what we do is we give massive amounts of value to the world. That's what you do. That's what we do. We just constantly delivering value to people. Value, 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 value. And if you front load enough of that out into the world, then reciprocation comes back to you, and people give you money. And if you look at the world that way, as opposed to the way I used to look at it in the banking industry, where I used to try to extract all the money I could out of my banks, out of my colleagues, out of anyone around, then you get this toxic feeling about yourself, because you're always trying to take stuff from people, and they're trying to take it from you. But if you go out there and you know what, I'm going to go into this situation, social or business, I'm giving value to everybody. Bam, 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 bam. Then when it comes time for someone to pay you for your services, they're like, you know what, I really want to give you this because you just changed my life. And so we start in the beginning mindset. What's your relationship with money? Let's make it to where it doesn't feel toxic. Let's make it to where you feel like you're doing a great thing, like you said in the very beginning. If you're living your passion, you're doing the world a service. And we all should be able to be out there living our passion. If you're not, you just haven't really worked hard enough. There's no reason for you to go to a 9-to-5 job every day and not to be inspired about your contribution to the world. I think we all have something we can offer, and the world would just be a 10x better place if everybody could figure out what they love to do and then do it in a way, and then I just think there would be so much more value and people getting paid for their passion.
And I think that's so important, because I think for business for so long, because I just had that, because I'd grown up and I literally, I was I had no money, I was poor, for, nothing, from maybe until I was 26, 27, when I started to turn things around fractionally.
Right.
I couldn't bear asking people for money, even if I was developing a really great service and really helping them out, because even no matter, regardless of how much disposable income they had, even if that's what they wanted to spend their money on, because I felt tremendous guilt around it. And now it's only in recent history that mindset has shifted for me, and I've recognized that you can create, it doesn't have to be always someone taking something from someone else. In an interpersonal relationship or a business relationship, you can create win all the way around for everybody that's participating.
Yeah. And one thing I found out with London Real, and you probably found this out as well, is that, look, when you give free product to people, it's great because you inspire them and they take your things and they notice. But what I found is when people started paying for the academy, and when people started paying for our business courses, I found that they invested more of their time.
Right.
So the results, we just finished our Life Accelerator course about 3 weeks ago, and 3 people got London Real tattoos on them, okay? I thought, this is real talk.
That's are you getting that on the testimonials? Are you going to get pictures of all the London
Real? Yeah,
but
they were on Instagram the next day. The guy's like, dude, my ankle's on your Instagram. I'm like, sorry. So, but that only would have happened. They paid $2,000 for that course, and honestly, I don't think they would have got it if they had consumed my free product. So sometimes, when you charge someone, it actually gets them to make changes in their life. So I hate to say it like this, but you almost do them a favor, because when they pay that money, they're like, you know what? I'm going to do whatever you say for the next 6 weeks, and because of that, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. I'm gonna go approach that female or that guy, I'm gonna change my game when it comes to my frame, and you actually get more progress with the people that actually invest money with you. And so that's why I stopped discounting the Business Accelerator a long time ago, and I'm like, look, I hate to say it this way, but you want me to charge you because that means you're gonna be all in, and in 8 weeks you're gonna do things that nobody could get you to do because you don't wanna feel like you wasted your money. So for entrepreneurs that are out there, I'm telling you, you're actually doing a disservice to your customers by not charging them money for your digital products, because you're only going to be so effective. They're just going to watch your videos and be like, okay, next YouTube video. But if you put something together like an event like Hayley's doing, or a digital product that takes the people through things, you're actually just going to have more of an impact, which is I think what we all really want in this world. We want to make an impact, we want to change the world, change people's lives, do meaningful work, and yeah, that's what this stuff's all about. Yeah, it's all good. When is your event? And how can we get in on it?
Okay, Going Renegade is on April 21st and 22nd, so if you're a woman who's down for breaking some rules, you want to check that out. I'm going to give away some stuff for free as well to start with, so if you haven't heard about that before, as a woman, if you go to hayleyquinn.com/real life, REALLIFE, quite close to London Real.
Very nice.
You get a free 6-page cheat sheet PDF about some of my specific skills about how to say hello, so if you don't believe it can be done, at least check that out. And for the guys as well, I've got hayleyquinn.com/approach, and there is a bunch of free videos and materials there for the men, because I do guys events as well.
Very nice. This is good stuff. This is lead capture, London Real style. I love it. You go to her website, you get more information about her. I bet she grabs an email address, which is great, and I'm sure her PDFs are amazing. So my girlfriend, if she's watching, you're not allowed to go to this event or anything. And my daughter that you're watching is a little young. She's turning 13 on Friday, so maybe we hold off. But in the long term, darling, if you leave me, or Gabby, when you grow up, I highly recommend Hayley's event. I'm actually curious. I'd like to go as well. So, but I mean, I guess I'm not allowed. But it looks interesting. And look, I love the idea of women approaching men. Look, as men, we always struggle with this whole concept, what to do and all that stuff. And I think more communication, like you said, like I think the big thing that you're talking about is if people were more open about their intentions and physically or verbally express them, then you would actually have a resolution sooner and you could both move along.
Right, you could work out, like, you know, when it's, as I said, even if you want a different style of relationship, for the guys out there who are thinking, oh, you know, I kind of just, you know, all the women, if you want to have more of a casual relationship, don't hide that fact. You know, you want to go in there on date one where no one's emotionally invested and no one cares, and put it across in an empathetic way which demonstrates it's a lifestyle choice for you and it isn't about the other person. And then, you know what, if someone is really not on board with that, let them go off and find something else, because there's so many people out there who want the same things as you, but you find them effectively by setting out your stall properly and communicating what you're about straight away.
Setting out your stool, I like that. And yeah, we've all known the guy that's been in the friend zone for 8 years, or the girl that always hoped something else would happen for 8 years, and it's so frustrating. So yeah, come out of the shell and speak the truth there. And that's awesome. And for us, look, we're in the middle of madness. We're doing another webinar tomorrow night. It'll be our 4th in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
But we only do this Business Accelerator about once or twice a year. When we do it, we go really big. So I don't know if my girls at home love this, but like Sunday night, I'm on a live call from home. And on Tuesday night, I'm on a live call for the next 9 weeks. Because like we literally drag people through. We have people in like 14 different time zones. The people in Australia and Korea and Hong Kong all get up at like 3 in the morning because we all do the call at 7 o'clock.
Right.
We use the Facebook private group and we upload tons of video up there, so you got to get used. We're big on broadcasting yourself to test the market. But we've just got something we put together because of all the mistakes I made in 5 years, and we really actually know what we're doing. And about half of our students actually get revenues in the first 6 weeks, and we're super excited for the program. And so I think the link is in Hayley's Instagram account, but it's londonreal.link/Hayley, Hayley, and that'll take you to the page. Applications close on Friday. It takes about 60 seconds to apply. Tell us your idea. If you don't have one, that's fine too. Half of our students don't have a business idea, and we actually find out what you're passionate about, what you're good at. We actually get you to vlog about some things, and we see if the market is feeling your vibe. If that's the case, we find out the right business for you, so we know what we're doing. And yeah, apply. We're looking for people with just great energy. I love passionate people. I'm not really interested in people that just want to make money. I hung out with those people now, and now I'm repenting for my sins. And so yeah, that's what we're looking for. It's a great ride, and it's like us personally mentoring you. It's actually my funnest time of the year because you get to see these people that like, probably with you at Pickup, you get to see people that shock themselves with what they can do.
Right.
And I get the same thing because we basically do similar things. We get people to break social norms. So for my people, I get people to start posting video publicly. Oh my gosh, what are my friends are gonna say? When you realize they don't say anything, they start building self-esteem. They're like, wait a second, I have a voice, I have a message, and now I sold products on my webinar. Wait a second, I can make a business. I feel powerful. And I think you do certain things, you do similar things, making people feel really empowered. And I think the world needs more of that, and that's what we do in this course. So
Okay.
it's all good.
Here's the action takers,
Yeah.
decision makers, the intense and powerful people. Love it.
I thought that was like almost an Apple ad.
Oh,
you were
well,
about to do.
hey, I was about to go into like,
Misfits.
I was almost like I almost went to a poetry mode there. I think that's probably a high sign of like, I respect your brand and what you're doing here, Brian.
Thank you. Are you
Almost in a sonnet.
really? In poetry, you bust out the poetry on a regular basis?
Oh, massively, yeah.
Maybe we need to see that on the Instagram feed.
Yeah, I was gonna put one up tonight.
Really?
Yeah, watch out.
Okay, I didn't know about the poetry thing, but we've heard it a few times, so it's all good. It's good to know. Look, this was fun. We got to have you back in for like a proper, lit Winston thing at some point. But look, I love the digital nomad. Like I said, I've got a guest of mine named Stephen Maxwell. He is like a 65-year-old guy who moves like a 35-year-old guy, and he literally is a digital nomad, travels the world. And in September he was here, and when he leaves, I'm like, same time next year? He said, same time next year. Wow. And he'll travel for a year, and he'll come back on the show.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just going with the seasons.
Okay, I love it.
Like a bird.
You have to pack light, though.
I know. Don't worry, I'm doing it. I'm good at that. Surprising. I just basically, this is a little other thing about me. I only ever wear black. I eat the same meals every day.
That's good. That's what a lot of winners. Same meals every day, and you only wear black.
Yeah, trim the decision-making process.
That's
right
like
down.
an Einstein thing, right? That's what he did. He had like one set of
Did he
clothes.
write poetry as well?
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah. No, but a lot of actually, and Tim Ferriss on his podcast, he found that a lot of the high performers, they eat the same thing every day because he thinks there's a thing called decision fatigue, and you can only make 5 to 10 important decisions a day. So make them not about your muesli, I guess.
Right.
All right. Well, we could talk forever. Hayley, it's great
been
seeing
amazing.
you. Right?
Thank you.
We'll do more live stuff in the future. Stay in touch. All the best with this live event.
Okay,
Yeah?
bye.
All right. We're shutting down.
Bye, guys.
Everywhere. Bye.
Bye. Oh, I think I've got storage full everywhere.
Yeah. I think. Just see. Dun, 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 dun. YouTube Live was rocking there.